I'm here today with Professor Kaul, Chief Editor of AsiaIntervention, and Professor Serruys, Senior Consulting Editor of the journal. The last issue of AsiaIntervention has just been launched here at Asia PCR 2017, and this morning we had a session in partnership with the journal. Professor Kaul, could you talk to us about this session?
I must say that the session was my brainchild. I had to work very hard with the Sing Live people to get it in, because they thought that it doesn't bring any value to the meeting. Whereas I was always insisting that clinical research and publications has to become a part and parcel of this meeting and in this region. Because if you see the figures of manuscripts coming from this region, is much low as compared to what it should be, keeping in mind the population, the diversity. So I think the session went off quite well, although I would be happier if more people were there in the session. But then this is one of the ways in which we have to inculcate talent in our people who are getting more and more attracted towards clinical research and to publish, because unless you publish, you're not known. And unless you know how to write papers, you're not going to write a paper. You're always shy. So we have to get this shyness out of our young people who work day in and day out to publish, to present, to discuss, and that's the way to go about it.
Thank you. And Professor Serruys, your presentation today was on the art of writing research papers. In Asia, the culture of writing papers is not as prolific as in Europe, for example. So which advice could you give to a young doctor who wants to write a manuscript?
Yeah, I think that writing a paper is an art, but in the first place you have to think why you want to write. You know, in many American academic institutions, you have the motto, perish or publish. If you don't publish, you don't get grant and you don't get continuation of your career. I like the motto, but for me it's a superficial motto. I think the reason why we write is because we have experience with the patient and we want to collect that experience and let's benefit somebody else of this collection of event, of collection of experience. That is, at least for me, the main motivation to write is to communicate an experience. And experience means collection of data. And collection of data means organization being able to collect this data. So how to learn? I think the only way is to do it, and I'm very proud because in Rotterdam we have, as you know, a large group. Have been up to 250 people from all the countries in the world, and I think that this last decade, Asia is the most represented. I mean, we have Thailand, we have Korea, we have Japan, we have China, we have India. And it's amazing to see how these people within 2 years are capable from zero experience to finish with a PhD thesis, which means 10, 15, 20 papers. So I think the key point, and I'm very proud that Professor Kaul has organized that meeting, because the young people has to understand that it's about the patient. It's about collection of data about the patient and sharing the experience with the rest of the world.
Thank you very much.
And I'd like to add here that AsiaIntervention is the appropriate and right kind of forum for this region. Well, every country has a small journal. Some are very small, some are little bigger, but those journals are not giving the value to the writers. So this kind of a journal, which has the name and is coming from the legacy of Euro interventions, and hopefully it should be indexed soon and more volumes are going to come. The encouraging thing is that number of manuscripts is incrementally increasing. So I think this forum is going to become a larger and larger forum. And I would also suggest that Asia Intervention should come to different countries. Like we have India Live, we have National International Council meeting. Have a session there, and that is how you can draw more and more young people towards the journal and inculcate them to write and publish.